I'm Jamie Pilloff. I am a volunteer for Hope for Three, and I'm also an instructor at Awakened Yoga in Sugar Land. I'm just going to go through about a 10-minute video for you as caregivers to sort of help ease your stress or maybe just get your body moving a little bit. So if everybody would just come into a comfortable seat. I've got my hips on the edge of a blanket, a yoga blanket, but you don't have to have that. It could be any kind of blanket you have at home or any kind of a cushion. So you just want to make sure you're sitting up nice and tall with a nice straight spine. And then just let your hands rest at your knees. So close your eyes and just begin to inhale and exhale through your nose. Just an easy breath. And then begin to let go of anything that might have traveled with you into your space today. Let go of any sort of static or expectations that you might have, either about this 10-minute video or anything else that you might be having that's going on later. And just begin to find a little ease. Think about rooting into your surface, whatever that is, whether it's a mat or the floor. And then reaching the crown of the head towards the ceiling, or if you're practicing outside, the sky. And let your shoulders fall away from your ears. And then we'll begin what's called an Ujjayi breath, which is just simply what we're already doing. An inhale through the nose and an exhale out the nose. We use that breath in the yoga practice. And we use it to bring awareness and focus, not only to the mind, but to the body as well. So think of your torso, your belly and your chest as a balloon that you're going to fill up on the inhale. So just fill that balloon up with air, almost to the point where you think it couldn't take anymore. And then you would slowly begin to exhale that air out. So you should feel an expansion of your belly on the chest, on the inhale, and a contraction of the belly and the chest on the exhale. So just do this for a couple of rounds, keeping the eyes closed. And then I want you to imagine that you're trying to whisper something to somebody. And when you do that, if you've whispered, which I know we all have, you feel like a constriction in the back of your throat. So that's that same feeling I want you to feel when you exhale. So almost like you were trying to fog up a mirror with your mouth closed. So we'll take about 3 to 5 more rounds of this Ujjayi breath, inhaling and exhaling. Think about deepening your inhale, so taking even more sips of air in, and then really exaggerate and lengthen that exhale, squeezing every little bit of air out that you can absolutely muster. And again, keeping the spine nice and tall. This breath is such a vital part of my life. I use it on my mat, but also off my mat or out of the yoga studio to really help with anxiety and stress. So this breath can be good for you as a caregiver, as well as for your child or person that you care for. All right, let's take one more round of breath together. So deep inhale. And then exhale. And then begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes, creating a little more movement in the body. You can take your ear over towards the right side of your body, and then back to center, and then drop that ear towards the left. And then finally bring the head back to neutral. Walk your hands out in front of you and tuck your chin to chest so that you feel a nice juicy stretch through lower, middle, and upper back. And then finally walk your hands back up towards your knees. So ideally, if you were to try to sit and meditate with this breath, I would recommend starting off with about 3 minutes and then maybe increasing your time to 5 minutes or even longer if you think that you might be ready to do that. This is a great way to just take time out when you need a time out, either for yourself or the person that you're caring for needs a time out. So I'd encourage you to use this breath, and just like anything else, it takes practice. So try it every day. Set your timer. You could even download a meditation app as well, and that sometimes people find that helpful. All right, so moving on from here, we're going to come off of our blanket or pillow or whatever you had, and then just set it towards the side. And then we're going to come on to what's called all fours, which is essentially bringing our hands and knees to the floor. So shoulders come over your wrists and your hips are over your knees. And we'll take a series of movements here called cat-cow just to begin to link movement with breath. So on the inhale, press your belly towards the floor and lift your chin, take your gaze up. We call this cow. And then exhale into cat as you draw your tailbone under, tucking chin to chest, and press away from whatever surface your hands are on. And then nice deep breath in. And then exhale. Drawing the tailbone under, tucking your chin to chest, rolling through lower, middle, upper back. This is a great sort of stretch just to get the body moving, the hips kind of going. And then again, once again, to sort of link that breath with the movement. So you can certainly take this at your own pace, slowing it down or speeding it up. Let's take one more round together. So deep breath in. Lift through the chin and chest. And then exhale. I like to call this angry cat. So really press your surface away from you. Tuck your chin to chest. Draw your tailbone under. And then come back to a neutral spot. So we're going to go from here with a little awakening. So it's designed to do just that. Sort of wake the body up from, head to toe, from the inside out. We'll do a modified version of a sun salutation. So you think about sun, it just kind of wakes you up and perks you up. Same sort of thing here. So we're in all fours. So let's come into downward facing dog. So you can see I'm curling my toes under here. And I'm just going to lift my knees away from the mat. And then we'll walk my hands out a little bit. And they're at least shoulder width or wider. And then turn your hands slightly out, almost where you have like a J in your right hand. And then lifting your knees off of the mat, just press back through your heels. So you can see now that my body is in an inverted V shape. We call this downward facing dog. And this is a great way to get your hips going, get your hamstrings stretched out a little bit. So I'm just pedaling out my feet like I'm riding a bike, and then I'm really pressing my hands into a mat. But if you're on the floor, just press your hands into the floor. And then, of course, keep breathing. And then take a deep breath in together, and on the exhale, press both heels closer to the mat, and imagine that you're trying to tuck or touch your nose all the way to your knees. Another deep breath in, and then exhale. Just walk your feet towards your hands and find what's called ragdoll. So I'm actually going to turn to the front so you can see me. I'm crossing my arms at my elbows. You can see that my knees are nice and bent, so what we like to call just a little softness behind the knees. And then I'm just going to let my upper body hang loose over my legs. So almost like a monkey sort of hangs, right? So I'm pressing my feet into my surface, so creating nice foundation for my feet. And then letting the upper body just hang here. So I like to bounce a little bit, sometimes sway left to right. And soften in your face. So separate your teeth. Let your cheeks get heavy. All right, and then finally release your hands to the mat. And then if your feet were like hip width distance or slightly wider, just kind of bring them a little closer together. We'll take next what's called a halfway lift. So I'm going to be in the front first, and then I'm going to turn to the side. So my hands are going to come to my shins, and I'm going to reach the crown of my head forward and hips back. So it looks like this from this side. So I have a nice flat back. This is a great way to just kind of lengthen the upper body, feel a nice good stretch. And then exhale, forward fold. And then let's rise all the way up together, drawing your fingertips towards the ceiling, taking a deep breath in, and then finally bring your hands to heart center. All right, just come forward a little bit. We'll take a sun salutation A, which is kind of what we just did, combined with a cat-cow. So we'll do it together. So inhale, sweep your arms up and over. Nice deep breath. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale for a halfway lift. So nice flat back here, drawing your shoulders away from your ears. And then bring your hands to the mat. Step back to all fours. So here we go again. We're going to take that cow followed by cat. So inhale, press your belly towards the mat. Lift through the chin. And then exhale, roll through the spine for that cat. And then lift your knees off the mat and press back to downward facing dog. Congratulations. That was your first Sun A. All right, take another deep breath in and then exhale. Step your feet towards your hands. Find a halfway lift, that flat back again, and then forward fold. And then rise up, moving with your breath. Inhale, draw your fingertips towards the ceiling, and then bring your hands to heart center. And we'll repeat that same sequence twice more. So inhale, sweep your arms up, nice deep breath. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Bring your hands to the mat. Step back to all fours. And take your cow, so press your belly towards the mat, lift through the chin, and then exhale for cat. Curling the toes under, press back downward facing dog. All right, inhale, deep breath. Exhale, step your feet towards your hands. Halfway lift, flat back. Forward fold. And then rise up, moving with the breath. Maybe you drop your head back for a little back bend, and then bring your hands to heart center. And let's do it once more. So inhale, sweep your arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, find that halfway lift. Bring your hands to the mat. Step your feet back. Find that all fours again. Inhale for cow. And then exhale for cat. And then finally press back to downward facing dog. And then we'll end here by, again, pedaling on our feet, just kind of where we started. Shaking your head out, yes and no. Okay, go ahead and drop down to your knees. And then swing your feet over to one side. Come onto your seat and make your way to your back. And then from here, we'll take happy baby. So this is kind of fun. You get to discover your playful side once again. So bend your knees, bringing your feet over your knees. And ideally, you would want to grab the outer edges of your feet, letting your elbows rest on the inner part of the thighs. But if you have trouble reaching your feet, you can always just grab your ankles or even below your thighs here. Either way, just pull your knees sort of up and then down towards your shoulders. And if you have your hands on your feet, or either way, make sure your feet are nice and flexed. And then I like to roll left to right, giving my lower back a little massage. Feels good. I have a slight tuck in my chin so that I have a nice long line in my spine from head to hip. And then release your feet. Drop your feet to the floor. We'll take for our almost next to last pose, a supine twist. So you can think about when you're twisting something out, you're kind of wringing it out, just kind of wringing out any little bit of extra leftover stress or anxiety or tension, or even sort of as a detox. So shift your hips over towards the right, and then drop your knees towards the left. And extend your right arm out. I like my palm turned up. And then turn your gaze towards your thumb, or you can just close your eyes. So we're still breathing that Ujjayi breath, but just kind of beginning to wind things down a little bit. Inhaling and exhaling through the nose. And then finally, bring yourself back to center. This time, shift your hips to the left and drop your knees to the right, extending the left arm out. And again, I like my palm turned up. And you can either take your gaze towards your left thumb or just close your eyes. Keeping that Ujjayi breath, or just an inhale, exhale through the nose. Just letting everything wind down, softening in the face. and then come back to center. Draw your knees up towards the chest. So we started off our quick little 10-minute practice with that seated position where we focused on our breath, sort of that little starting point from walking into this video and to getting into a quick little yoga practice. And then the same thing is true at the end. So sort of that little buffer between what we just did and the rest of your day. We call that Shavasana. So super important to try to stay in it. We're going to take what's called corpse pose. So corpse pose, if you think about a dead person, what do they do? Nothing, right? So just work for, stillness, not only in the body, but also in the mind. So again, give yourself that one little bit of juicy hug here, showing gratitude for yourself, your body, and all that you do for others. And then extend your legs out in front of you. I'm going to let my legs come nice and wide, turning my toes out, and let my hands come to my sides and curl your fingertips so palms up. And then take a deep breath in, and then exhale. Sigh it out the mouth. So let your body melt completely into your surface. And let go of the ujjayi breath. And instead, just come back to your normal breath here. Separate your teeth. Let your jaw relax. Close your eyes. Let your head get really super heavy on the mat. And this Shavasana could be as long as you want it to be, but for the time's sake, we won't be here very long. Again, you could always extend it, whatever feels good to you. Super important, though, not just skip it. And work really hard at finding that stillness in your mind. And then begin to create small movements in the body, wiggling your fingers and your toes. Maybe rolling out your wrists or even your ankles. I like to turn my head from one side to the other. Now let's take a full body stretch. So float your hands over your head, point your toes to the front. And then draw your knees towards your chest. Roll yourself over onto your favorite side, pausing for just another moment. And then finally, use your hands to guide yourself up to a seated position, sort of coming full circle from where we started. You can sit on the edge of a blanket or just sit with your legs crossed. Letting your hands come together at heart center. Thanks so much for being with me today. Thank you for taking time out and setting your intention to find presence. Thank you for showing gratitude to yourself and be kind to yourself, knowing that you have to take care of you first before you can take care of anyone else. And as your thumbs come towards your forehead center, always know that the light within you is always there, and the light within me continues to salute that amazing, generous light that lies within each of you. Namaste. Peace be with you. Thanks so much.